guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Romi. I am a registered nurse and medical student and now a mom to a almost 4-month-old, and today's video is going to be all about how to travel with a newborn. So I'm super excited to make this video. Traveling with a newborn was a really big anxiety for me because I didn't know what to expect at the airport. I didn't really know how to travel with a baby who needs to sleep all the time. So I have a few tips and tricks I'm going to include in this video that made life so much easier and made traveling with a newborn so great, and we just loved experiencing traveling with her and just having her be our little bestie, just hanging out with us. So I know I've been making a lot of newborn baby content lately, but I absolutely love baby videos. I always binge watch them as a new mom, but I do have a lot of nursing and medical student videos that are currently being filmed and coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. If you guys haven't already, please hit that red subscribe button to join the family and to follow me along on my journey, and don't forget to hit this like button and leave me some comments down below about any questions you have about traveling with a newborn in an airport or any video suggestions that you guys have. I love hearing them. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll put my links somewhere around here. To start things off, we went on a trip to Hawaii 2 weeks ago. We had about a 3-hour flight to Phoenix and about a 6.5-hour trip from Phoenix to Honolulu. So that was almost 10 hours in travel time and a 1-hour connecting layover. So that is a lot of flying. For first-time parents traveling with a newborn, that can cause a lot of anxiety of the unknown. So hopefully these tips and tricks will help you wherever you guys are flying to. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump straight into my tips. The very first tip that I highly recommend as parents traveling with a newborn is to get TSA PreCheck. Now this is something in the United States. I'm not sure what it's called or if they have something similar in different countries. This pretty much makes you eligible to skip the regular main lines in the airport through security, and you pretty much just go through this fast accelerated lane where you don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to take out any electronics in your bag, you don't have to take out any liquids or anything like that. You leave everything in your bag, you put it on the little scanner, and then you just walk on through. Like, it is so easy and so fast. I've always seen like people go through these lines in the past. I'm just like, oh man, I should probably get that. It's so much faster and everything, but I never really thought into it after my trip. I always just went home and completely forgot about TSA PreCheck. This is something I did and looked into like a week before my trip. I just Googled online TSA PreCheck .government website, whatever it is. I'll put the link down below, and all you do is just fill out a quick application. It literally took me like 5 minutes to do. Just fill out my information, and then you can just go to any place that's near you. I went to like a Staples like 10 minutes away. You can just literally go anywhere, like same day or next day. This is some things like look at my passport, look at my ID, and then they did some fingerprints. It literally took like less than 10 minutes to even be there, and then they submit it all. It's all online, super easy, fast process. And then literally the next day I got my known traveler ID number, which pretty much will make me eligible to be TSA PreCheck for the next 5 years. Now the cost is $85 for 5 years, but I feel like it is 100,000% worth it. Like, even if it was for 1 year, I still would have got it, but it lasts for 5 years. So easy, so fast. They say it takes like 3 to 5 days on average to get your traveling number, but I got mine literally the next day. So I highly recommend doing that. Literally, it saved me so much anxiety just going through the regular lines, because lines can be so long and you can miss your flight because of it. Literally, I just walked on in like I was the first person up. Like, security took like less than 5 minutes. It was absolutely amazing, and I didn't have to worry about taking off my shoes and lugging out my fluids and my laptop and all these electronics while holding a baby. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Definitely get it if you are traveling with a newborn or even toddlers, and it's great because they last under your pre-check until they're 12 years old. So you can be TSA PreCheck and have them under you for free until they're 12, which is amazing. My next tip is to check in absolutely everything you can to make yourself as hands-free as possible with your newborn. We literally checked in her stroller, car seat, and a bassinet, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a little bit. And we checked in all our carry-on bags. We had like 1 check-in bag and 2 carry-ons, which we decided to check both in. We checked all our like rolling bags pretty much. And all we had was her diaper bag, my pumping bag, and my husband's personal items. So we had pretty much 3 bags that we were carrying through the airport, and they're all like backpacks. So we would be completely hands-free in case one of us needed to take care of the baby really quick. If you're more comfortable carrying or pushing a stroller throughout the airport, then you can also gate check your stroller and car seat. Pretty much just take it to the front of the gate where your flight is leaving, and you just ask them to gate check your stroller and your car seat, and then you pretty much push it down the bridge. Some people take it, and then it will be available for you once the flight lands right at the gate. I did not do that. I just put her in a carrier the whole time because it was just a lot easier for me just to be hands-free and not have to push around anything. And they don't have you take her out of the carrier or anything like that. You just leave her in the carrier and walk on through. She was pretty much asleep the whole time we were in the airport, so she was asleep through this whole process, and it was fantastic. So bringing in the stroller and car seat and gate checking it might be easier for you if you have like a lot more bags and you have to put it underneath. But we just decided to check everything in straight to Hawaii so we won't have to be lugging that stuff around, especially since we had a connecting stopover before we headed to our final destination. So it just relieved me of a lot of stress. So speaking about the bassinet, our baby likes to sleep laying down. It is really hard for her to sleep in a car seat. She pretty much cannot sleep in a car seat unless she is completely exhausted from the whole day. So she loves sleeping laying down in a bassinet. So we decided to check in our bassinet as well, just so she can be sleeping or napping whenever we're out doing excursions in Hawaii. And literally it made life so much easier because we knew she would be screaming in a car seat before she fell asleep in it. Whenever we were strolling around Hawaii, just going to the beach, we went to like a waterfall and just like shopping around and things like that, we could easily just lay her down in the bassinet to put her to sleep while we continued our shopping or going on our excursion. So that made things so much easier. I highly recommend, if you're gonna check it in, getting a huge like XL stroller bag. We got this one from Amazon for like 25 bucks, and we literally put our stroller, our car seat, and the bassinet all in it. It looked kind of ridiculous walking with it through the airport at first when we were going to Hawaii, but I realized that I needed to do it like when we were going to the check-in podium, just to do it there, just so you're not lugging around this giant bag. Like, it is huge. That's what we did. I'll link it down below if you guys are interested, but we literally love that thing because then like it folds up into a little small compact like square size. So like right when we got to Hawaii, we took it off the thing, I don't know what it's called, where they bring your luggage out, and then we just unpacked this stroller, car seat, bassinet combo, and then just folded it up really quick and threw it underneath the stroller. So that was super easy. Next, I'm gonna quickly talk about pumping and breastfeeding while on the plane. I know this was a huge stress for me, like wondering how I'm gonna feed my baby, when to pump, where am I gonna pump. So that was really stressful for me. If you are formula feeding, that's awesome. I do have a few tips for you as well, going through TSA security. Pretty much I'm exclusively pumping and my baby's exclusively drinking breast milk. I brought a pumping bag / breast milk cooler with me, and I'm gonna take a picture or take a video and show it to you guys somewhere here. Your pumping bag does not count as a personal item or carry-on whatsoever because it is considered a medical device. You can look that up on the TSA policy. They cannot count that item. So you can have a carry-on luggage bag, a personal item, and your pumping bag. I had it in a little pink bag. You can have a little cooler as well. It does not count with breast milk, but I decided to combine the two just so I don't have two separate bags, a pumping bag and a cooling bag. It just literally came in one bag. So that was pretty cool. You can also have frozen gel packs with you that I put into the cooler compartment, and they have to be completely frozen. If they're slushy or unfrozen in any type of way, you can't take it with you through security. You have to check that in. What I did was completely freeze my gel packs. I put in just one bottle of breast milk, and then I had a pumped bottle with me for the airport. That I can just use immediately on hand whenever I am going through security and getting to my gate and all that stuff. And I made sure to pump right before we left to the airport, which really helps. I had one extra breast milk bottle going there that is put in the cooling compartment, and I had my pumping materials, my pump wipes, pretty much everything I would need to pump, lids, flanges, things like that, into the top pumping part. And that's pretty much what I took with me at all times, all through Hawaii, all through the airport. I always have my pumping bag with me with a little cooling compartment. What you can do if you also don't have the gel packs is you can ask any restaurant or like a bar or something like that in the airport after you've already gone through security. You can just ask them for a bag of ice, or just bring some giant Ziplocs and then ask them to fill it up with ice, and then you can put that in the cooler and you can just literally go through without these gel packs. Or if you're late for your flight, you can also ask the flight attendant to fill up your bags with ice and they happily did so for me. Like, they were so nice and willing to help me out while breastfeeding on a plane. Like, they were fantastic on all our flights, so you can also do that. We didn't have a freezer in our hotel in Hawaii, so coming back I did have to check in my gel packs. So this is what I pretty much did with all my extra breast milk that I pumped throughout the week. I just stuck it in the cooling compartment with a bag of ice from our hotel, and then I threw away the watery ice by the time we got to TSA security, and then right through security we just went straight through our gate, boarded our flight, and the first thing I did was ask the flight attendant to fill up my bag with some ice, and they were so nice and happy to do so. So then I just stuck it back in, and I pretty much had cold milk until I went home. So I was able to go home and just freeze all that extra milk that I had pumped in Hawaii. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Baby's Brew. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. The Baby's Brew is literally a portable battery like bottle warmer, because usually we use the bottle warmer at home that has like the water in it, but literally it's like the tiniest thing ever. I threw it in my pumping bag, and then on the plane you're able to take that cold bottle of milk that I had brought for her and just throw it on the Baby's Brew, and then just have her milk warmed up in less than 5 minutes. I know babies can drink milk cold. If your baby does, that's amazing. Our baby can drink milk cold too, but she does have reflux issues, and warmer milk does help with her reflux. So we like to give her warm milk at all times possible, but if we just can't, then we'll give her the cold milk. But bringing that was definitely a lifesaver for the plane and going out in Hawaii, and it's great because it's like a USB like C charging cable that we brought with us, and we just made sure to charge it every night before we went out. So the next tip I have, I'm sure you guys have heard this one before, is to use a pacifier or feed the baby during takeoff and landing. So pressure in the plane is a big thing. I've heard of lots of my friends who have babies not do this, and their baby just wakes up screaming because of the ear pains. Our very first takeoff, Violet was fast asleep in her carrier. What I did was just stick the pacifier in her mouth and not wake her up for the feed, and just have her lightly suck on it while the plane was taking off. She was like dead asleep, so she didn't even suck on it that much, but she didn't wake up screaming once, which was great. The other time she was kind of awake, so we did give her some milk and feed her during the takeoffs and the landings. So that just kind of helped. We didn't have any problem, or I didn't see any ear pain with her whatsoever. Definitely have the pacifier on hand if you have already fed the baby, or just like the bottle ready just in case your baby does wake up fully. Which brings me to my next little tip, is have a pacifier clip always handy while traveling. That pacifier falls so easily even though you think you have a hand on it. It just helps in keeping you hands free, and in case the baby spits out the pacifier, which Violet loves to do, like she can't keep the pacifier in her mouth very well, that pacifier clip just saves you from having to wash it from landing on the airport floor or airplane floor, which is super gross. I also meant to mention, for formula feeding moms, you can bring bottles of water with you through TSA security. You just have to mention that the water is for formula. They're legally required to let you go in through with the bottles of water. So that's an awesome tip to know, so you can bring some water, and you can also drink it for yourself if you need to. So pumping on a plane was something I was super stressed about. I was like, what if I don't sit next to Kevin? Because we do fly standby, and we get the extra seats that are left over on the plane for free because he is a flight attendant. So we don't pick our seats pretty much ever unless there's a bunch of seats left over. But this was a full flight, so I wasn't sure if I was going to sit next to him or not. So pumping was a huge stressor for me on the plane, but it actually worked out fantastically because we pretty much sat next to each other every single flight, thankfully. I always took the window seat for a little more privacy, and he always sat right next to me, and I always brought 2 baby blankets, one blanket for Violet in case she needed it if the plane was cold, and then one I had like a thinner long blanket for me that I was able to use for pumping. So I always just grabbed it out of her diaper bag and then threw it over while I was pumping, and literally it was just super easy. Like, no one even cared, no one even paid attention. The plane is super loud, so they can't even hear your pump. But I just brought one pump with me instead of my wireless pumps just to make it easier for me, because my Medela hospital grade pump is the pump that I mainly use. It's my main pump. It literally makes me empty like super fast, so I brought it with me. So I would have to lug around my wireless pump and the Medela pump. I just wanted to keep things super simple for myself. I brought the battery pack, and that's an important thing to bring for your pump. Just bring the little battery pack in case they don't have the plug-in option on the plane. And I literally took that battery pack with me like when we went out on excursions. And then I literally just was able to pump anywhere. Like in our rental car, I literally pumped in the mall bathroom one time. But if you do have a long layover, in every airport they have some sort of like pumping pod. You can breastfeed your baby in there. They're really cute. I opened one up, but I never use it because our connecting stopovers were just so short, so I was never able to actually like use them. Yeah, you can literally do that if you are in the airport, so you don't have to pump in the plane. Make sure you bring pumping wipes if you are pumping. That was a huge thing. I just loved wiping down my pump parts on the plane instead of just having to go to the bathroom and use soap and water. And that little bathroom is just so gross and so small, you can't do anything in it. So I just like, after I finished pumping, I just wiped down my parts and put everything back ready for my next pump if I needed to pump again on the plane. My very last tip is to bring a stroller fan. Now that was a huge thing for us. We absolutely loved using the stroller fan because even though Hawaii is about 80 degrees, it gets hot at times if you're under the direct sun for a long time. So we brought that stroller fan wherever we went. We used a chargeable stroller fan that I'll link down below. It's so cute and it's pink. Don't forget this because baby will get hot, and our baby gets fussy when she is hot. So we always had the stroller fan running on her. We went to like the Polynesian Cultural Center and we went to the luau, which was outside, and we just had the stroller fan on her while she slept the whole time in the carrier, and she loved it. They're really inexpensive. They're like 20 bucks. It will definitely be a lifesaver. Those are all the tips I had traveling with a newborn. Using all of these things literally mitigated my stress and made me feel way more confident traveling with a baby through the airport and 2 different places. I hope these tips help you. Please let me know in the comments if you use any of these tips. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!